everybody, and welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk. And this, my friends, this is the Thunder Show. And the Thunder Show is probably one of the greatest things that's ever happened to my life outside of my family, and starting to even get into the New York Jets level. The amount of love and emails and just enormous support that the Vayner Nation out there sends me, I cannot thank you. I apologize for being behind on email, but I promise you I will catch up before the end of the year. Just want to thank you for a great year as we're winding down 2007, a full year of WLTV. We banged out a crap load of episodes this year. Hopefully we'll be able to continue it in 2008. And we will try very hard. Mott, I want to thank you very much for a tremendous year. You've been doing a great job.
Thank you.
And the maniacs out there I know love you. Heck, more than me. They are demanding a Mott Link It Up t-shirt. But we will refuse, and we will not do that for them. Today we have 4 various wines from Germany, from Bordeaux, Australia, and South Africa. A nice little smorgasbord, a brouhaha, if you'd like, of different wines. And so I'm excited about that. All very well respected, sought after, scored, and just, you know, kind of the way I like to taste. Sometimes just mixing it up, trying different things, relaxing, enjoying, and let's get into it. Spice Route, 2006. Pinotage, $16 US, 90 points Wine Spectator. The Pinotage, as we know, has been a wine and a grape varietal, excuse me, that we've featured on the Thunder Show a couple times. Really South Africa's treasure, and really a wine that I think has more potential to make more damage happen in 2008. Really an interesting grape varietal that brings a lot of thunder often. This is a very well-priced Pinotage. 16 bones is very fair for the varietal, and 90 points Wine Spectator. Some really pretty color. Let's pour out a little bit for all of you who've never had a little bit of the Pinotage. Can you turn that down? Let's get into this wine. On the sniffy sniff. Now say it with me, folks. Sniffy sniff. Very interesting wine on the nose. I get a little bit of charcoal. I also get a little bit of a sherry kind of flavor coming through. Also very meaty, very gamey, coming across like ham or cut up meats. Really deli shop. A little bologna action on the nose here on the Spice Route. Kind of interesting. Get a little bit of a copper component as well. Like you stuck a cherry in your mouth, but really bacon fat. Once again becoming an obvious... My God, this really smells like meats, like cut out, you know, like lunch meats. A lot of lunch meat action going on here. And again, getting into the nose is what's all about. And you know, I know you've been watching me for a long time, some of you, and some of you just jumping on board. But the bouquet, the nose, it's where it's all at for me. I love smelling wine, and getting this meaty, meat kind of thing up my nose. I prefer it. Let's give it a whirl. Great mouthfeel. Very, very Thanksgiving. Very, you know, ham, Christmas ham with cherry sauce on top. Very holiday meal-esque. Now, subconsciously, we're in the holiday time, so maybe I'm thinking that, but I doubt it. It's enormously meatloaf, ham, bologna, very gamey that way. Almost feels like I bit a live bird as well. I mean, just very gamey and in its approach, but there's some really nice cherry sauce kind of components coming through. Not as much classic banana as we sometimes get in Pinotage. Just a real heavy layer of cherry sauce. I get a little acorn action coming across. One of the things I went outside recently and bit into was an acorn, just because I felt like I was missing the action. I think I chipped my tooth, but that's another story for another day. I like the texture. It really reminds me of a nice French meal because I get a gaminess, duck, wild boar. I get the little pieces of bacon. You know those nice little pieces of bacon, just so delicious. I get animal fat. and grease. That's what I was looking for. Very animal fat on the approach. I like this wine, but you need to know what you're getting yourself into. I like the back-end tannins. I think Wine Spec did really hit the hammer on this one. Kudos, WS. Kudos. I'm also going 90 points in this wine, and for $16, a screaming buy. I think this is a wine that everybody needs to seek out. A fine example, and probably the signature example of Pinotage that I've come across that's under 20 bones, and that is an opportunity for a lot of people to learn. And that's what the Thunder Show is all about. Learning and embracing different flavors in your palate. I'd love to see a lot of you step out the box and find this wine. I love that this is a wine that I think a lot of you are going to be able to find, because I know it's a kind of a out there producer. Really good effort. Still getting that barbecue, smoky, gamey fat, bacon, cherry sauce kind of flavor. I like this wine. Kudos, good job. Let's move on. Black Wing, 2005, McLaren Vale and Langhorne Creek. Great area in Australia, Langhorne Creek. Step Road, Black Wing, 2005, Shiraz, 7. Is that right? 7? Hold on. 7? Mott, keep him entertained.
Oh.
Holy cow.
For sure.
$7. It is true. 7! Ken O'Brien! Boomer! Did Dave Brown wear 7 or 17? He was terrible. $7 US, 90 points, Robert Parker. This, on paper, 2005, a big-time vintage in Australia. On paper, one of the most attractive opportunities in wine drinking in a long time. I'm pretty jazzed right now about trying this. Let's get into it. You know it's going to get a little fake high C, because that's what Australia likes to do, but maybe not. Nice nose. Not as bad as I thought, actually. Very much coming across like chocolate-covered milk dud chocolate, like that milk chocolate covered raspberries and raisins on the nose. Kind of interesting. Very chocolatey. Count Chocula. I do get some red fruit as well. I get a really big burst on the finish of pomegranate on the nose. I do get a little alcohol, rubbing alcohol kind of component on the nose as well, but not too bad. Very interesting. Let's give it a whirl. Pretty good so far. Torn. Nice mouthfeel, good body, definitely too alcoholic. Little, Richard Pryor, wino bum on the corner action going on. The alcohol's hot. Puff the Magic Dragon on the, on the heat in the mouth. However, good fruit, solid balance, even though the alcohol is off. Definitely, let me get you to pay attention with a bounce cork. Not bad. Definitely a wine that you need to be drinking if you're drinking Yellowtail or Alice White or Rosemount or Lindemans, a far superior version of Shiraz in that $7 price point. A little off balance, but what do you expect? Parker's a little bit drunk on the Shiraz on this one at 90 points, in my opinion, of course, respectively. Saying that, I think this is an 87-point wine, and it makes me darn proud of it. 7 bones, the alcohol and the heat is clearly off balance. It's like Vicks Vapor Rub, and it's like shooting into your mouth. But other than that, this is a well-made, polished example of what can be done when it doesn't go completely high C fake fruit. It's got a little something, but it's almost like Brian Roberts, who said he only juiced up one time, or Pettit. This is Andy Pettit. This is not Clemens. And not too bad. A really solid bottle of wine that everybody out there should or hopefully could afford at $7 US. 7! Not bad. Good work. Nice wine. And an 87-point wine, in my opinion, and very much a wine that I would recommend, and a wine that I would bring to like a frat party. If everybody's over 21, of course. Let's move on. Chateau Latour Carnet. This is for me. I've been dying to try this Haut Medoc from 2003. Producer I have a lot of respect for. I think he's bringing great value. 90 points, Robert Parker. $24 US. This is a blend of Cab, Sauvignon, Merlot, Cab Franc, and a little Petit Verdot. Throw it up for the PV. I'm excited about that. And most of all, a producer I have a lot of respect for. 2003 vintage, we all know, is a sneaky, interesting vintage this way. It was the Kangaroo vintage. It was a little hotter. But in a vintage where Haut Medoc, you know, really does nice work here. And 24 US dollars, solid price point. 24, Darrelle Revis, best cornerback in the NFL in 2 years. New York Jet, of course. 24 bucks, 90 points Parker, Cabernet, Merlot, Cab Franc, Petit Verdot, for the classic varietals in Bordeaux. Let's get into it. Little sniffy sniff first. Very classic Haut Medoc, Cabernet type nose. I get a little bit of oak chip. It's like you cleaned up, you know, actually, you know what it really smells like? If you've cleaned up your yard and you cut down all the, you know, trees and veins, and then you got one of those shredder machines and, you know, oh no, we just threw a bunch of cherries in there by accident with the wood. That's what this smells like, because you get a very woody kind of oak and maple tree component, bark, tree bark as well, but you definitely get a whole load of cherries and a refreshing like white pepper kind of component, little hints of clove, very aromatically sound, nice solid nose. Let's give it a whirl. And the Oak Monster, who, by the way, Mott, all of his t-shirts are sold out. I still have the dodgeball. The Oak Monster has made an appearance on this wine. I find this wine slightly over-oaked. Mott, you know what? Let's link up theoakmonster.com, right? Some maniacs might not know who the Oak Monster is. So, Mott, link it up. Anyway, oak is coming through clearly. There is cherry. There's heavy loads of vanilla cream. A little creme brulee action on the mouthfeel of this wine, loaded with strawberries. Little strawberries that you'd plop into your champagne on a brunch on Sunday on the Upper West Side. West Side. I like to say it that way. Anyway, so the creme brulee, the oak, the vanilla, the cherries, the strawberries, classic red wine, but almost California-esque. This is where the kangaroos started bouncing wild in 2003. And what do I mean by kangaroo vintage? It was a very hot vintage in Bordeaux, and Bordeaux doesn't understand how to handle that kind of heat, in my opinion. So the wines got very flabby and uninteresting. Big scores from Parker and Spectator on the 2003 vintage. I'm going to go on record right now saying is, see me in 10 years. I disagree. I think these wines are going to fall apart and get awkward. I'm already starting to see some signs of things that I don't like in the 2003 Bordeaux vintage. Whereas in California, Australia, a lot of people like to pee on them and say that they don't last. I disagree. Those are places where the winemakers and the techniques are a little bit more used to the heat. I think 03 is an anomaly in Bordeaux, and I really do think in the next 15 years, some of those wines are going to fall apart, making the 05s and the 2000s so much more sought after, and especially the 05s, which is why I scream about 2005 Bordeaux, and I like to put it on video, because I know this video lasts forever, and when the grandkids are watching this, hey grandkids, I was smart. Really smart. So, very smart. Kinda. But, that being said, this wine is bothering me. It is way too New World-ified, completely off balance that way. Old World fans, leave. Fast forward, we're going to score this wine 86 points and a big disappointment. Yes, I would rather drink that, even though it's a New World wine, because this wine is not finding its place whatsoever. I have a very awkward aftertaste. I'm still not enjoying it. I'm actually probably why I'm talking so much, because I'm trying to see if I can out-talk the flavor in my mouth. Now, I've been successful with that quite a bit, because I talk a lot. However, in this instance, in this opportunity, it is not working, meaning that the flavor is so meh, not so good. And that's what's bothering me with this. It's not even delicious. And if you're going to go fruity on me, be at least delicious. You're not doing that, and that's why you're getting 86. You're getting 86 because the nose was good, the foundation of the wine was good, the back structure of the wine was good. There's a lot of good things going on, except the way it tastes. And if you don't remember wine, that's what it all comes down to. Let's move on. He got this pretty hard for an 86-point wine. I was a little bit harsh. I apologize. But I was expecting it from Le Tour Carnet. We've got J.J. Prum, one of the great producers of German wines in the world. The Wellner Spätlese, 92 points. Damon Shilnick, 32 US dollars. This is a great Riesling, and it has residual sugar. Spatlese means it's got high sugar level. That's the codation. Let's Mott. I almost called you Ronnie Lott. Mott, link up the German episode. I'll send you the link. It's one of the early ones where we really broke down the levels of sugar, help people out with the German wines. Some really nice color, a little spritzy spritz action. Let's give it a little bit of a sniffy sniff. I love burnt BMX tires meets peaches, and that's what I'm getting here. It's just pretty. Very burnt tire-esque on the nose, followed by gorgeous peaches and apricots, a little hint of pear, all with really shook up seltzer spritzed all over it. You get a little spritzy action on the nose. Very nice. Let's give it a whirl. I get beautiful bluestone, gorgeous dried apricots. You know, the ones you buy at Wegmans for like 10 bucks for a little bucket. Once again, viscous, oily, motor shop kind of components that are very subtle on the outer aspects of your palate. Gorgeous peach juice coming through, almost like a Bellini kind of flavor going on. Almost tastes like a Bellini, and I feel like I'm in Italy, you know, in Venice on a Sunday morning brunch. A lot of brunch action going on. I want to have brunch probably tomorrow. Anyway, very polished, great wine from the Moselle. Beautiful, very delicate. I enjoy the floral aspects coming through here as well. I also get some tumbleweed kind of component on the mouthfeel. Cactus juice coming through, if you've ever had that, kind of subtly on the back end here on the palate. But I'm still tasting this. Now it's transitioning into almost a melon flavor on the back end palate. A concoction of cantaloupe and dandelions dancing on my end result palate here. Very, very complex white wine, as we've gone through a lot of flavors right there. Let's go one more whirl on it. Very pretty bottle of wine. Great balance of acidity and fruit. Great structure. Mott, bring out some West Coast oysters, and I will go to town on them here. Just absolutely elegance at its finest. I think David Shilnick, who writes for Robert Parker's Wine Advocate now and does Germany, Languedoc, Long Island, several spots, nails this one right in the head. I'm going to follow his suit and go 92 points on this. I think it's a very good effort, really well made, and just a really great example of what Germany can do. These are great wines. It really saddens me because I know a lot of you, and that's going to be the question today. But tell the truth for once in your lives. Have you ever had a German Riesling? I know it's a silly question, but look yourself in the mirror and tell the truth. And then I want you to go part two on me. Part two me. Give me a little shoulder. Have you had more than two of them? So go yes, yes, or no, no, or whatever. Have you ever had a German Riesling? And for everybody's like, oh yeah, I've had them. Yeah, but have you had more than two of them? I'm going to score this wine 92. I said that. Question day I just asked. Mott, I love you. Vaniacs, I love you more. Wristbands. Rumors on the street is there's a third edition. I just threw the first edition at you. I'll throw the second edition at you. Third edition. Maybe, maybe not. Definitely no Mott t-shirt. Because you, with a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world.